So this question is, a block of mass 2 kg is pushed against a rough vertical wall. So if we have a rough vertical wall and a block of mass 2 kg is pushed against it, okay, like this, with a force 40 Newton, coefficient of static friction being 0.5. So coefficient of static friction is 0.5. Another horizontal force 15 Newton is applied. So horizontal force of 15 Newton is applied on it. So horizontal force means what? How will it act? It will act, if we have drawn this wall, the horizontal force will act perpendicular to this surface. See, this is vertical. This plane is vertical. The force is applied here. So the 15 Newton force is acting like this, 15 Newton. So this is 3D diagram actually. This is 3D. The force is acting here and the second force is acting into the plane. Or if we can make another diagram also, we can make in another view for the same system, we can make another view. So suppose this is the object and this is the object and the force applied. The 40 Newton is like this and the wall is this. This is the wall. Okay, this is wall. Here the wall is here, this one, and here this is wall. Okay, and there is a what are the other forces acting? So there is an extra force of 15 Newton is acting horizontally, and since it will slide to down because of mg will be there, and there will be friction. Okay, so there will be friction also acting. So if there is no downward force is acting, the mg will be balanced by friction. If there is no downward force acting, then mg will be balanced by friction, because how much maximum friction will act? The maximum friction will be mu times normal. So whatever force you are applying, the same amount normal will act here. Okay, so if you are applying 40 Newton this way, then normal will act outward in this diagram. So 40 Newton is inward, is in, and normal is out. Okay, so mu times normal, that is maximum friction force. So mu is 0.5 and normal is 40. So 20 Newton, the maximum 20 Newton it can apply. Okay, so since it can apply 20 Newton and weight is how much? Weight is also 20 Newton, 2 kg into 10, that is 20 Newton. So the amount of weight and amount of maximum friction are balancing each other. But if you apply an extra force, what is going to happen is the mg and this force, these two will act together. This 15 Newton extra force and mg will act together, and this is 20 Newton. So the object will try to go in this direction. Combination of these two is how much? 15 square plus 20 square. So that is 25. So there is a 25 Newton. Actually, there is a 25 Newton acting in this direction, and the object will try to slide like this. And if object tries to slide like this, the friction will now change its direction. Initially, the friction was acting upward. Friction was also there. But if you apply this horizontal force, the friction will not remain upward. It will act at some angle like this. If there was no horizontal force, the friction was upward and that was balancing the mg. But if you apply this horizontal force, the friction will act sideways like this. Friction always acts opposite to the possible direction of motion. So friction will act like this. Okay. So now friction is going to be 20 Newton, because that is the maximum friction that we have written. This is 20 Newton. So 25 Newton in this direction minus 20 Newton. So this is the net force divided by the mass 2 kg. That will be the acceleration. So acceleration will be 5 by 2. So that is 2.5 meter per second square. So in this way we can write. So the main thing to notice here is, if you do not apply the external force 15 Newton, then friction acts upward, because the extra force which is trying to put the object is 20 Newton downward, the gravitational force. So friction is acting upward. But once you apply one more external force 15 Newton, the mg and 15 Newton are trying to make a resultant force of 25 Newton in this direction. Okay, so the friction is going to act opposite to that. So friction will act in this way, just in opposite direction of 25. So 25 minus 20 by 2. Okay, so in this way we can write. So that will be 2.5 meter per second square.